Hello and welcome to Q Sports. I'm Udu Gajaga and thank you very much for joining us. Coming up, we're talking about women's football exclusively, from Women's Football Association election to its postponement to the withdrawal of one of the candidates on election day and some of the controversies surrounding the voter roll when it comes to the election aspect of it, and also even the laws governing the elections. We'll also be looking at the WAFU Women's Cup, currently ongoing in Mauritania. The competition kick-started. Now it is at the final stage. Sierra Leone will play against Senegal in the final, and we will bring you details of that. But also in that competition, there's been a controversial penalty that is going around on social media that everybody is talking about. And a Gambian was in the middle of the pitch as the official who officiated the match, Fatungam. Sees the center of controversy in the game between Liberia and Senegal. She awarded a penalty, highly questionable penalty. Some in fact describe it as a dubious penalty to be awarded to the Senegalese team, which eventually see them through to the final of the competition. We'll be looking at all that on Q Sports this morning, but first let's talk about this controversial election, if you like. Well, sometime last week, there was a Football Association election, Women's Football Association. The executive committee members came. The current one, that is the president, Senabu Cham, was re-elected, but not without controversies. And joining me in the studio is freelance journalist Fatou B. Kamara, who was there to cover these elections. And she can bring us up to the proceedings before we even get into the details of the controversies that happened. Fatou, tell us about your assessment of this Women's Football Association election, which was held last week.
Gajaga, thank you for having me, and good morning to the viewers of QTV this morning. So the election happened on the 10th of May 2025. That was the first scheduled day. So when we went there, for me personally, I went there as a journalist to observe and also report what I've seen and what I've heard. So on that day, there are so many debates here and there about the Constitution. Some says Senabu did not have all the criteria that is mentioned in the Constitution, and some delegates are also saying that Adama Jaju also doesn't have that constitutional criteria that she should stand for presidency. So when I check the Constitution, it states that, if you are looking for an executive position, you should be someone who should not be younger than 25 years. You should be a Gambian, and you should be someone who is at least in football for 5 years, and you should be someone who did not, commit any felony, that is a crime. So these are individuals who file in their nomination paper to the electoral committee of the association, or the election. So what happened was Senabu missed her certificate of character in her nomination papers, and debate was surrounding about Adama Jaju's involvement in football for 5 years. So another thing was that the elective body, that is the electoral body rather, some delegates said they did not know anything about it, as their constitution states that there should be an AGM where the General Assembly should select the electoral committee. But again, here on that day, some delegates were saying they don't know anything about how the electoral body came up. So this was part of the debate during that day on the 10th May. So the one of the electoral committee, the individual there, that is the chairperson, Mary Decker, said she's not going to sell her integrity on that day. Even told some delegates are really saying that they don't, believe that they will be someone who will, conduct the election fairly and transparently. So that being the case, the election was postponed. So it ended prematurely. So some delegates went home. We were there before. After some minutes, they call us again. So who called us was the electoral body. There were 3 individuals. That is Bajabi, you have the guy from National Sports Council, and then you have Mary, who is from the NGO, rather. The
Gambia National Olympic Committee.
Olympic Committee, exactly. So they call us. So when we came in again, so the Electoral Committee, because they have already dissolved this, executive, that is Senabu and her,
Yeah, because their time
yes,
is over. So they need to go for a Congress election.
Exactly. So it means that there is no executive body for the Gambia Football Association, Women Football Association. Yeah. So Bajabi, not Bajabi, the one from the National Sports, the National Sports Council,
is
of
it
course.
Jawla?
Yes, Mr. Jawla. Mahmoud Jawla said they're going to select a new day because there is no executive body. So they are going to select a new day for the re-election or for the election itself. So some delegates also, this debate sparking again, somewhere saying we don't have that quorum again because some delegates already went home and you don't have the right to select a day for us. What we need is the, we need an interim committee that will, run the association before we, select a new day for the election. So, majority of them on that day said, now what we will do is the electoral committee will write to different clubs because we have clubs in the Women Football Association. The electoral body will have to write, maybe the day that they will feel like they will conduct that election, they will write to these clubs and now they will sit and discuss. If they agreed, now they can go for the election. That's why it happened again on the 24th of May 2025 at the FIFA Goal Project. So according to Bajabi, in an interview with Fatu Network, he said when they rescheduled the date, both parties confirmed that yes, they're okay with the 24th, May. So they went back again to the poll to decide. So that day also, the same thing came in saying, because on that day we saw two individuals as the electoral body. By Mr. Kujabi has to excuse himself because after that day, on the 10th May 2025, some allegations were like he is biased, he is with, Team Senabu. So I think he wasn't comfortable with the allegation, so he decided to excuse himself. So on that day again, some delegates are saying that two individuals cannot, conduct the election, and that there are so many new faces on that day who are not eligible to vote. So this was the push and pull here and there. So Team Adama Jaju decided that if they are not going to, because they feel like they are butchering the constitution, as they put it in the quotation, I will put it, they are butchering the constitution. Now, if that will be the case, now they have to excuse themselves, meaning they will withdraw. And that led to their withdrawal in the on that day. So finally, Senabu and her team rather were re-elected. But again that day, Mary said she's not going to sell her integrity, that if the other camp feel that they are not following the constitution, she's not going to be part of things that people will term as it is illegal or it is wrong. So since they are not following the constitution, now she is going to excuse himself. Now, Bajabi took the responsibility upon himself to conduct the election.
So it means Mary already recused herself.
Yes.
Citing that, people might think that, she's party to something that is not okay.
Yes, and the other party are saying that they are butchering the constitution, so she's not going to be part of those who are, butchers of the constitution.
So literally, Bajabi eventually stepped in to run the election.
To take the responsibility. But I saw the interview that he had with Fatu Network, that he cannot conduct that election as one person. So here the confusion came in. So, but Bajabi was the one who conducted the election.
But anyway, the election went ahead.
Yes, it went ahead even though this other party withdrew. So what he did was, he will, because there was a position for President vice president, you have the secretary, the first vice president, and you have the treasurer. So what he will do is to call the position, like for example, the president, the position of the presidency, and he asks on that day, he asks Adam Ajaju to confirm whether he has, she has withdrawn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we in fact have that video. In
exactly.
fact, let's pause a little bit. Just before that, there was a confrontation. Let's watch that confrontation, how it happened. In fact, the video credit to Fatu. She's the one who filmed that. Let's watch that confrontation on video. There you go, that was a confrontation. And later on, we saw Adam Ajaju was not also happy with the way things are going. In fact, accused them of butchering the constitution. This is what she said.
This morning we are here and given by the constitution, and we feel that things are going the right way. The constitution is not being respected, and by that, I decline my candidacy from this moment.
Adama declined her candidature to contest as president of the Women's Football Association of the Gambia. And eventually, like Fatu was saying, Senabu was elected unopposed. But when you look at the constitution and some of the things that have been said, did the other team have a point, Adama and her team altogether?
Adama and her team at certain, for certain reason, yes. Because the constitution said the electoral committee should be selected by the General Assembly on the day of their general meeting. That is the AGM.
Yes.
Yes. And I have to authenticate whether even the AGM happened before the Congress. So, that is an allegation, because I want to have the side of the other party, but then the other camp, that is Senabu, but they are not willing to give me that chance to interview them. But Senabu right now, I got the information that she's in Mecca to perform Hajj, and she promised that she will, definitely give me that chance to interview her. These are allegations that she needs to, clear up. So the constitution said they should elect the electoral committee. So now majority of the delegates are saying they don't know anything about the electoral committee. That Senabu were the one that bring all these ideas. They bring in this electoral committee. For that being the case, they are not okay with that. And again, the constitution says that, one thing they also, debate on was the financial report. Financial report for the fact that on that day was not given. So when I read the constitution states that the financial report should be given on the day of the AGM. So did that AGM happen? That's where there are questions to come in whether financial report was. But on that day was, according to Senabu and her team, was mainly for the election.
The election, okay.
Not for
anything that happened prior to that is irrelevant on that particular day.
Exactly.
But if you look at it overall, should the elections have gone ahead? Because if you have all these controversies, yes, one of the candidates declared her withdrawal prior to the election, and then the other candidate, Senabu, was elected unopposed. Later on, after the election, yes, despite Adam Ajaju withdrawing, they filed a petition, her team, to, is it the National Sports Council, about the conduct of the election. They were not happy with the way things happened. They said the constitution wasn't respected. That's the electoral law. The way the election went, kind of, they questioned the whole integrity of the election. Looking at all those points, should the election should have even gone ahead? Shouldn't they have postponed it still until some of these questionable things are trashed out before they even go into the election?
Exactly my point. And on the 10th of May, that was the first day that they scheduled this election, Senabu did not have that certificate of character. She did not present it, as I said earlier on in her nomination papers. So on the day, did they even find out, or did Senabu on that day submitted that to fulfill the criteria that the Constitution states? No, because they did not go into it. Secondly, the team, Adama Jaju's team, what they are claiming that some delegates are there who do not have that right in votes, and still they were there to vote to make sure that they maintain as Senabu as they allege. Was that the case? Because it should be 65 delegates, among which 43 should be the voters. 43 should have that voting rights. We have 10 first division women clubs in the Gambia. So each club should select, 2 delegates, where just 1 delegate should have that voting right. So meaning from the first division side, we have 10 votes, because there are 10 teams. The same thing applies to the second division team. The second division team has 12 teams, meaning we are having 12 votes from them. So altogether with the first division is 22 votes. So the other votes are coming from the regional football association. That is the 7 regions. You have the KM, the Carnifing, you have West Coast. That 7 region, each one has 3 delegates, which all of them have right in votes. So meaning that 21 plus this 3 from these 11 regional association makes it 43 votes. So what they are claiming, that some are there who did not even have that right in vote. Did they even check? Rights, Did they even check that to authenticate that allegation? That did not happen, and still the election went ahead. And now Adama and her team filed a petition. They sent it to the National Sports Council, and those National Sports Council replied to their petition that they feel that it should go to the federation, that is the Gambia Football Federation, because they believe it is an internal problems that they should deal among themselves. So the petition was sent to the GFF, and the GFF replied that they will look into it, that their appropriate body in the federation will look into it, and reply will be given. But then what will be that reply?
But is the GFF not party to this election already? Because Senabu is part of the committee. He's part of the GFF executive committee, in fact, representing women's football. So how can you send your petition to that body to have a ruling or maybe do an observation on it? Of course, there should be a neutral body. Neutral
body, yes. That's why I said maybe also National Sports Council are waiting for the reply of the federation. Maybe if things do not go in the right direction, maybe they will intervene. But I think there should be an independent body, as you said, because this association is affiliated to GFF, and Senabu is already part of the GFF executive.
Let's talk about the withdrawal aspect of it for Adama Jaju. I know her for quite some time. I think she's the founder of Yakar Football Academy, has been into women's football for quite some time. But not taking part in the election, does that already sound, yes, defeat for her prior to getting in? Because if she has the confidence that she is going to win the election, probably she would have run anyway, despite the controversies that she talks about, and also the electoral body and also the electoral law governing these particular elections. Yes, is it because when she looked at the numbers that basically Senabu would pull in the better votes and eventually would win? That was the reason for her withdrawal and later filed a petition? What was your observation?
Well, my observation first was she wasn't satisfied with the whole process.
From day one?
From day one.
Oh, okay.
That is because they are not, following the Constitution. Day one, she has that spirit in her. I could see from her eyes that she will win. Yes, this is the perception that she has, even though they went according to the Constitution. But the second day of the election, that was the 24th of May, looking at the number, right, I could tell Senabu was on a better side. Looking at it, because they separate themselves. You could identify, when you go there, you could identify it for yourself.
So that is exactly like the GFF senior election. Yes, we were there, and then you can literally tell who is going to vote for
For-
which camp
Exactly.
because of their seating arrangement. So this one was also like that?
This one was also like that. Looking at where the side, Senabu was sitting, looking at the number, you could tell, Senabu is on a better chance. But again, the question that I asked was, this is women football we are talking about, yeah? But why are men taking the center stage?
Yes. In fact,
They were
the
the
video that we
majority.
played earlier, you would see there were more men
Men.
than women
Of course.
in Women Football Association matters and their election or whatsoever. Yes, you can say the men, probably they are stakeholders in teams. They
Yes.
either own teams or they are particularly being part of a particular team as executive member or secretary general or whatsoever. So, but the male dominated that election, from the proceedings to everything that happened there.
That is the problem. Even the question that we're raising, the constitutional matters, I was surprised when I saw some female, or some women sitting without even uttering a single word. Are they comfortable with the whole process? Maybe. That's why they did not talk. But this is their association. They should take the center stage. It's crazy on that day. But I believe the election shouldn't have gone ahead when it is not verified that whether, Senabu fell in her, certificate of character, because these are one of the criteria that the Constitution say, and you should go by the Constitution. The Constitution is there to govern you.
Did anyone raise the issue? Because I remember being part of a recent sports body election where somebody came and questioned one of the candidates' involvement in a particular sport. They raised the issue. In fact, initially they wrote a letter and then they brought in proof. So the other candidate that they're accusing was also prepared very well. She came with the certificates and everything that she was involved in a particular sports. In fact, she's been in that sports for 5 years or so. Has anything like that happened in the case of, let's say, Senabu? Somebody says, raise the question, the alarm to say, did she bring her certificate of character? Because
even
the other
though
time,
Adama
yeah,
withdrew.
exactly.
Yes, this question never came up because I believe the tension was high to an extent that some of them really escaped that aspect. On that day, it was, asked. And Senabu on that day had a call on, and she was like, my certificate of character will be sent. But I will say this and people will maybe see it in a different way. Didn't you read the Constitution? Didn't you understand the Constitution? Didn't you know the criteria that you should have to stand for this position? The Constitution is telling you that you should not be younger than 25 years. You should be a Gambian. You should be someone who has that, football experience for at least 5 years. You should be someone who should not commit any felony or, let's say, any crime. So to authenticate that you haven't, commit any crime, that is to present your certificate of character.
And that you get it
wasn't-
from the police.
Yes, that wasn't there. So even though Adama is not part, that she has withdrawn, they went further to, check all these criteria before re-electing Zainab. No.
Well, for the many times I've covered Gambian football for over a decade or so, in other sports as well, I've never seen somebody filing an election petition and the decision overturned. In your wildest dreams, do you think something like that could happen for the very first time? Maybe they say, let's go back to the election, it wasn't fair. Let's call for the delegates to come in again and vote properly.
To be fair enough, if things should go on the right way, there should be a new day for the election. But if things turn out, then Team Adam, I think they have to forget their petition. But I've spoke to them. I've been speaking to them because they are the only one giving me the chance to speak to them. And they said they are not relenting, even though, because I asked them whether they have that positive mind that something positive will come out of this petition from the GFF body. And they were like, even though they don't have that positive response,
GFF are players, they're referees as well. So they can't be players and referees
at the same time.
At the same time when it comes to this.
But let's see what will happen. But I think things should go on the right way, to be fair enough.
Eventually, if you put everything together in terms of the controversies leading up to the election, because initial date was scheduled was for on the 10th, and then questions were raised, and then you have on the 24th they came in, despite with all the questions it still went ahead. And for somebody like Bajabi, his integrity has been questioned for single-handedly running this election. So when he says he alone cannot oversee this election, what does he mean? Was there an assistant? Was there somebody else?
Of course, this is why I am confused, because there were two individuals, him and Mary. Mary excused herself rather, for, I mean, maybe, she said, I will put, like she said exactly, that she's not going to sell her integrity. So Bajabi is saying, on the other hand, since Mary excused herself, so it means it's only Bajabi left. So, I mean, the election still go ahead. Who conducted it? It was him. Now again, he is saying that he cannot conduct the election as a person. So were there some tricks that happened that maybe Mary said she's going to excuse herself while she's with Bajabi unknowingly? This is something
so when Mary excused herself, she didn't play any role at all? At all.
She was sitting, keeping quiet, and Bajabi was doing the proceedings. Yes.
From the roll call to the election process, the delegates, the voting process, because I saw all that on video where she even declared the winner of the election. Was it?
Yes. The roll call, I can say, happened even before the withdrawal of Adam.
Okay.
And when everything starts is where, I mean, some delegates were even saying that, I mean, people who are eligible to vote names were written by the electronic device. But the ones that they said they are ineligible to vote were written. So, I mean, nothing is done to authenticate, I mean, whether this person is even, I mean, eligible to vote. And Senabu unopposed, meaning she has to be the president even without people voting, because there is no other opposition.
Opposition, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's just like giving her a free right. On that note, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will be talking about women's football at the WAFU Cup, currently ongoing in Mauritania. It's now at the final stage. It's Senegal who will play against Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is a team that was defeated by the Gambia 3-0 in their first game. And that Sierra Leone is in the final. The Gambia women's national team are out of the competition because they lost 4-3 to Guinea in their final game of the group phase. We'll bring you all those details after the break.
Browse with us. QCell brings you a promo like never before. Get unlimited internet for just $25. Yes! Recharge $25 and enjoy the convenience of free internet from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day with our Browse with Us promo. With this amazing offer, you can browse, stream, and download all your favorite movies for free. So why wait? Recharge $25 today and enjoy free internet only with QCell between 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. For more information, call customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Bus, we innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
It's Tobaski time. Whether you are sending from the Gambia to UK, USA, Europe, or the other way round, Red Coat Express has you covered. We are the Gambia's trusted air freight and shipment experts. Fast, reliable, and affordable. If you're sending from the Gambia to UK, $2,125 for the first kilo, just $400 for each extra kilo. UK to the Gambia, £6 per kilo, drop-off included. £7 per kilo. Collection 10 kilogram. From pickup and packaging to customer delivery, we handle it all. Stress-free. Whether you choose our air freight for speed or shipment for bigger loads, Red Coat Express has you covered. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 3077776 on Kairaba Avenue or 5322-2900 at the airport. Or you can contact our international number on +447 353 133 808. Red Coat Express, flying your Tobaski joy across borders.
Welcome back and thank you very much for joining us. This is Q Sports and I'm Mumudu Kajaga. Now we're talking about women's football at the regional level, if you like. The WAFU A women's football competition at the senior level is currently on the way in Mauritania. The competition kick-started on the 18th of May and it will run until the 31st. That is today. The big final is between our neighbor Senegal and Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is a team, like I said earlier before the break, that was defeated by the Gambia 3-0. The Gambia's second game, they played against Senegal. They were trashed, they were destroyed, they were dismantled, completely outclassed. 6-0 was the scoreline. It's just unbelievable. Yes, Senegal recently in women's football have been defeated the Gambia every time, but it's most of the time has been close margins, either a 2-1 or a 2-0 or a 3-1 or a 3-2. But this one was just too much. Now they have a chance to redeem themselves in the final group game against Guinea. And Guinea is a team that lost to Sierra Leone by 2-1. And that final game in the group phase, the Gambia again lost by 4-3. In fact, initially at some point, it was 3-0 for Guinea. Later on, they were able to kind of, I would say, sow pride, but eventually they couldn't turn the result. Sierra Leone and Senegal obviously progressed. But in this competition, you would have expected the Gambia, this is at the regional level, to perhaps maybe go as far as the semi-finals of the competition. But they got knocked out in the group phase. Fatubi Camara, you cover women's football. You've seen some of the teams, how well they do in the first and second division. Some of the players are selected, of course, from these teams. Well, according to the coach, she selected the best players available, according to her, and also according to her plan, getting into this competition. Winning against Sierra Leone and then losing 6-0 to Senegal and then losing to Guinea. What's your assessment of the Gambia's performance in this WAFU Women's Cup competition? That's WAFU A.
Yes, I think before I go further, I would like to congratulate her because this is her, third time in this tournament. That is the second edition of the tournament. She was able to secure the bronze medal, and this time around we expect even more than the bronze medal, and I think that was her mentality. But again, coming to the players selection, yes, there are some players who deserve to be there, the likes of our Rugia Juve. We have seen her performance with the determined girls of Liberia. We have Khadijata of Shatter Angels. So we also see, some players who are really, trying their best when it comes to the league. But again, the absence of some players also were questionable. The likes of Olabuaro, the likes of, Kumba Kuyate rather of, Red Scorpions.
Is he the leading goal scorer?
The leading goal scorer. Kumba is a fantastic striker. She is very good in front of goals. Why she's not been selected?
That does not happen anywhere in the world.
That is a big question.
You have the leading goal scorer of the league, a national team is being selected, and she's been dropped.
Yes, you pay a blind eye to her.
And select another player.
And select another person. And looking at our game at Sierra Leone, I mean, it's a very good game. We won and we did not concede any goal. We were able to score 3 goals. It is an impressive performance, but this is something that they have been expecting. Because
in fact, she proudly said in the press
Yes,
conference, post-match press conference, they've
course.
always been beating Sierra Leone.
that wasn't a headache for her. The headache was against Senegal. This is not the first time that you are playing against Senegal. I mean, they have been beating us. You should at least adjust to make sure that you take a revenge, or maybe you go sharing a points with them. So having 6 goals in single game, I mean, this is an embarrassment, because that shows our defense line is not really good at all. It's not really good at all, because it should have been better if we have 2 goals to 0, 1 goal to 0, but 6 goals. And some people are saying that they even spell our name. That is Gambia, 6 letters.
Yes, 6 letters.
And if you see in reality, that is the right. I mean, that is true. So why do we always lost to Senegal whenever we face them? This is a big question, and this is something that we should really work on.
Is it not because they're better than us in every aspect?
Is it because, yes, in there when it comes to football infrastructure, and you know, I mean, Senegal always have that confidence that when they, face us, is going to be.
I saw the video where their team captain in the dressing room was telling them that
we have to win this.
Yeah, we have to win this. We're better than them. Let's go and show them how good we are. That's kind of quality performance.
Yes, and Guinea of all people, when we think that, they're going to rectify their mistake, this is where they even hit us with a very big stone. I mean, trailing 3 goals at halftime,
that was just too much.
It was just too much. Even though they have a really good, second half, they were able to score 3 goals in second half. That is an impressive, performance from them. But still, they could not escape. They said that, Guinea's 4th goal was caught on offside, but the referee did not give that as an offside. And not seeing ourselves at least in this semi-final, it is a big blow. Honestly, a big blow. When Ellen Gay was having that interview after their defeat against to Senegal, the way she was speaking, she even gave me the hope that they would beat Guinea. But unfortunately, things turn out the other way around. So I think the selection is not that bad, but why are some players left behind? Like I said, Ola Buaro, Kumba, and other players. It is a big question mark. So I think coaches should be very vigilant when it comes to selecting players for our national team. This is a national competition.
So be based on merit. So
Yes.
be based on players who...
Players' performance, who really delivered well. As you said, why should you pay a blind eye to someone who was the leading goal scorer? We have seen her performance when Red Scorpions went for that women's championship qualifier in which country again? I forgot.
Well, for Senegal, reaching the final is not a surprise. Sierra Leone, is it because we defeated them 3-0 in their first game? But since then, Sierra Leone has been fantastic in that group. They beat Guinea 2-1 in their second game, and in the final group game against Senegal, it was 1-1. They drew against Senegal. And Senegal is being tipped as favorite of this competition. Well, of course, that's the reason why they're in the final, but there is another reason that we will be talking about later on.
Exactly. Sierra Leone, battled with Senegal, and they were able to share points. This is an impressive performance from their side. I was even saying that what happened in their first game when they faced against Gambia, us beating Senegal, thinking that maybe us beating Sierra Leone rather, us thinking about maybe we will finish at the second place of the group stage, but it was Sierra Leone, and now they are in the final after beating Mali.
Is it a defense that is questionable? Is it because the team is not well drilled in terms of their performance, energy levels would drop at certain point in the match, level of concentration? What would you attribute it to? Let's say the type of goals that we concede.
The defense line was very, very, was not really impressive. Looking at the goal that we conceded, if you, have to, combine these two games, it means that we conceded 10 goals.
10 goals, yeah.
10 goals in 2 games.
In 2 games.
We have to question
That's
the
terrible.
defenders.
Yeah, that's
How
really
possible?
bad.
Was it Senegal's first goal? That was from a corner kick. All the defenders were concentrating where the ball is coming from. Well, Senegal's people are behind our defenders.
Yes.
Freely.
Freely, yes. The ball dropped and then
The ball
easily.
dropped and they were able to score. So I would blame the defenders. And sometimes lack of communication, and sometimes I also see we get tired easily. The energy-wise, sometimes it's not there 100%.
That will bring me back to my next question concerning the league. How competitive is the first and second division women's league? Because you have a Red Scorpion, you have a police team who will just beat, excuse my language, beat the hell out of everybody else in every game. So if you have a league like that, it is either Red Scorpion or police who are going to be champions. Like the champion is known even before a ball is kicked. Like no other team is going to challenge for the league title. If you have a league like that, do you think the league is also too weak? And this is the league where the majority of the players come from.
Yes. Having one team dominating every league is, that question is very relevant to ask. Red Scorpions,
Did they win in, is it for 8 years in a row or so? Something like that? Because the
has
last
been
time they
quite a while.
represented the Gambia in the Women's Champions League.
That's where I was talking about the performance of Kumba, where she should. That was the reason why even she should be part of this. Squad. But this league is somehow competitive. We have seen Better Women also forcing. The second runner-up of last season. They are also pushing harder to make sure that they win this league. And what I've seen so far, if they have to continue like this, they have almost win the league.
There are issues surrounding where they play their games. The venues, the timing of their matches are also kind of discouraging. And when it comes to remuneration, how much money did the players get, the teams, how they are run. When it comes to funding aspect of the game, it's really, really difficult. So that developmental aspect of it, don't you think that is also going to affect the players, and eventually those players, when they get to the national team, this is going to affect their performance?
Yes, I think this is everywhere. The financial aspect of it, players, a refund, a fair refund. This is everywhere. Even the GFF male side, the first and second division side, I would see. Sometimes teams given, I know.
Yeah, and they don't want people to talk about these things,
they don't
but it's
want
really
people
sad.
to talk about it even currently.
So,
let me not break this news, but after this, the competition from the WAFU, some players are still complaining about the compensation given to them. We will find out and we will authenticate that. But I think these are things that really contribute when it comes to their performance when they go international. So we should really, Gambia, we have a long way to go. We really have a long way to go. So I will not talk much about the Women's League this season. I am guilty somehow because my 75% concentration is on the GFF male and male division side. The reason is because I need some money. So I'm working with people who are focusing on the male side,
yes,
and they are
in
paying
terms of traffic as well. Yeah, also the visibility and something.
And they are paying me. So what I do is, if I don't have a game for the male side, I try to attend the women's
football.
Of it. And when it comes to the second division side of the women football, fortune this year, I really, trying their whole best to make sure that they are in the first division. It was an impressive run from them. But again, in the FF Cup, they were given a big blow when Koita FC, knocked them out of the FF Cup. I know they said there are some arguments when it comes to their second goal that was caught offside, and they said it wasn't an offside, it was a goal. So if that goal was given, they could have been in the quarter final of the FF Cup.
That's quite interesting. Now we will take another break, a very short one, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about a controversial refereeing decision, why Senegal are in the final and why Liberia are still mourning. They're groaning, mourning, complaining, and they just definitely talking about Fatungam. She's in the spotlight for the wrong reasons. We'll talk about that.
Running low on data? Need to stay connected without spending too much? Get 1 GB for just $50. Yes, only $50. Whether you're streaming videos, scrolling through social media, messaging friends, or catching up on the latest news, this offer has got you covered. At home, on the move, or just in need of a quick top-up, it's the perfect data deal for you. And the best part, it's valid for 2 full days. Don't miss out. Dial *303# and choose option 7 to grab your 1 GB data for just $50. It's affordable, reliable, just what you need. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunibus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us. This is Q Sports. I am Umudu Gajaga. We're talking about women's football. What a better competition to talk about than the WAFU Women's Cup competition. That's the WAFU A. Currently underway in Mauritania. Today is the big final. Senegal and Sierra Leone will battle it out after Gambia misses out on the competition in the group phase. We couldn't qualify for the semi-final, stock legs of the final. But the big talking point about the competition is not all about the good news that Senegal and Sierra Leone are in the finals. It's about Fatungam, a Gambian women's referee, female referee, has been officiating matches locally and also internationally, have also officiated some games in the sub-region, especially in this competition. She awarded Senegal a penalty when they faced Liberia in the semi-final, and that penalty, from the video reviews, you can watch it maybe multiple times if you like, several angles of it, but there is only one angle available to it. But you could see clearly the player wins the ball 100%. But Fatou gave this decision as a penalty to Senegal. Quite controversial. Liberian football fans are not happy about it. The Liberian media are all over, how they talk about how despicable the decision was. Fatou, you observe Fatou, your namesake, Fatou Ngam, has been official. Is it a mistake? Is it referees are human beings like you and I? We all commit mistakes, but the decision was definitely, if you look at the video several times, you will know that it wasn't a penalty.
So coming to that aspect, it's so controversial. As you said, Liberian fans are not happy. Liberian journalists are not happy. Some even contacted me. But, when you look at it, Gambia, some Gambian journalists, there is a conflict of interest, but we have to be professional, right? In as much as, yes, they said, I don't know anything about refereeing after posting Fatou, even though my message wasn't about her performance on that day.
It was about the results.
Was the fact that she was the one who officiated
the
that
match,
game.
yes.
And this is how the game ended.
Yeah.
But how the penalty was given, I did not say anything about it because I did not know it. So the negative things about it is the comment. And I think people have the rights to their own opinion. Okay. Fatu awarded a penalty. Based on the little knowledge that I have in football, like you said, the defender clearly had the ball. He clearly cleared the ball without touching the one in position,
yes.
with the ball. To my own understanding, I think if that was a penalty, then a red card should be given. It could have been a big tackle inside the box.
Yes. That if he has missed the ball
exactly,
and then got the player,
the player,
yes, that would have been penalty and a red card at the same time. Yes.
But again, as you said, they are humans being like us. They are human beings like us. And again, people are saying there were no VAR.
Yes, there was no VAR.
To help her.
It was in the blink of an eye. It's a quick decision.
That she made.
has to make the decision. But many would assess to say, how about maybe you consult your assistant?
Like
for a brief moment, kind of consult and see if the assistant has a clear view of what happened. Maybe you're behind the incident. You're perhaps maybe a little closer to it or so, but rather than just to quickly give the decision. Yes, I know Fatu,
this is why
I covered games in which she officiated, she did well. We're not vilifying her, we're basically trying to say what actually happened. Yes. The tackle was a clean tackle. He didn't touch the player as to kind of impede the player in that kind of a situation where a tackle where he misses the ball and then she misses the ball and then got the man.
Exactly. If you watch that video, looking at the player's intention, you could see that her intention was not to touch the player, but to clear the ball. And which she did. She did. But unfortunately, a penalty was given. We are not trying to paint Fatu as a bad person, as the game.
A bad referee also, yeah. This could be one of
yes,
mistakes.
I think this is why they have assistants.
So, yeah.
This is why they have fourth referee, the second and linesman. I mean, as you said yesterday, what happened at the park when Gav was playing their home game against Hawks FC. What happened was there was a ball contact, handball. The referee was there, he saw it, but maybe he felt that he should consult his assistant, which he did. And I mean, the final result was that it is not a penalty, because you could see that, I mean, both teams, the Hawks player and the Gav player, both, I mean, touched the ball with their hand, even it is not intentional. So what I saw clearly yesterday is Hawks touching the ball. I know they will not be happy with it, but what he did was to consult the fourth, referee, which I think it is the right way, and the penalty wasn't given. And I think for the case of Fatu, this is what she should have did. So people are asking. In fact, the big question or the bigger question is, should Fatu even officiate that game, knowing the relationship that
between Gambia and Senegal? Yes, so that's also something that is being questioned, but that happens in international football. Yes, you can have a French referee officiating a match between Belgium and England, even though France and England are close countries or whatsoever. I'm afraid that's all we have for in this edition of Q Sports. Until we come your way next week, keep on sporting and have a wonderful day. Bye. Thank you. Yes. Fatu, thank you so much.
Thank you.